and it says summer chocolates, perfect for barbecues. Let's just say that again. Summer chocolate, perfect for barbecues. Today I am going to see a chocolatier, which will be no hardship whatsoever. He's basically a craftsman in the material of chocolate. Met him a few times. We talked about marketing in the main, but also websites. I met him when he first launched his website, maybe, I don't know, 6 years ago. Anyway, he's called me back in, and he wants to talk about how he can monetize his database. Historically, always done mail order. In fact, that is his lead source of sales. Mail order, still print mail order, sending out printed material. And he would like to convert that into email marketing and database sales. Okay, I've just left a meeting with the chocolatier, and it was what I thought. I mean, the brief is pretty simple, which is I'd like to sell more chocolate. And we talked about email marketing and databases and some of the things I said, but in the 2-hour session, then I would say we very quickly got off that. Very quickly. All his promotion drives people to his website. That's where they buy the product. That is the point of sale, I guess, if you want to call it something textbooky, which I don't really. You know, everybody gets driven to the website. That's a good idea. When you drive people to a website, then they see your branding, and it's all, you know, you get the bigger sale. However, you don't want to be doing that if when they arrive, they see things that tell them not to buy the product. And there were things. When you're close to your own business, it's very hard to see what is and isn't correct. And within seconds, that there are some obvious things. When you think how people use websites, and you know, I'm not saying this is very exciting, but there's been lots of research done into people using computers, you know, watching them use computers. Anyway, and there is a way they behave. They arrive at a website, they look to the top right, they look to the left, and they read the menu. And if it's a horizontal menu, which most are today, they read left to right. Unless you're in China, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, in our country, left to right. Now, you haven't got long. You've got, like, you know, 10 seconds, 20 seconds to get someone's attention. And that means put the good stuff on the left. And when we looked at his menu, you know, things like visit the shop are on that side. That's not good. I'm never going to get there. Also, most people arrive on your homepage. You know, that's how you get my attention. They see the preview pane. That's all they see. You know, if you put all your good content off the screen below the preview pane, you know, you're asking me to scroll. I'm not going to do it. People are inherently lazy. You know, I mean that with respect to people. I am a person. You know, they're inherently lazy, which means I'm not going to scroll unless you sell me the reason to click. That means sales content. Now, if I describe, bear in mind, this guy and his business are brilliant chocolate craftsmen. They make, well, I'll be eating a lot of it, you know. They make lovely chocolate. However, it's not my job to be nice. It's my job to give an opinion, to say it as it is. And this is how it was. I arrive at the chocolatier's homepage. I look from left to right, and what I really want to do is buy some chocolate. His terminology was buy chocolate. Now, when you go and look at Hotel Chocolate's website, they don't say that. They say send a gift. And we had a chat, and I don't want to go all psychology on it, but it is psychology sales. You know, what's the difference there? Well, the chocolatier has said buy chocolate. That's a call to action. I like calls to action, but it's a personal call to action. It's saying to me, buy yourself some chocolate. Hotel Chocolate's website says buy someone else some chocolate. And as he said to me, not many people buy themselves chocolate. You know, there aren't that many people in the world who sit on a website searching for chocolate to buy to eat themselves. Apparently. They buy it for other people. It's such a small difference, but it's such a big difference. Hotel Chocolate, buy someone else a gift. The chocolatier, buy themselves some chocolate and eat it. You know, not so many people are going to engage with that, okay, with the wording. Then we look at what we see on the preview pane. So this is just like the first glimpse. We look at what we see on the preview pane, and the chocolatier says, pretty much, I make fine chocolate and have done for 25 years. No pictures, right? You know, I am the chocolatier. Fine. But go on to Hotel Chocolate's website, again, you know, using your wealthy competitors as a benchmark. And it says, summer chocolates, perfect for barbecues. Let's just say that again. Summer chocolate, perfect for barbecues. Yeah, that's what they say. And they say it because it's summer, I'm having a barbecue, and suddenly I feel like you are engaged with my needs. It's not a factual statement about I make chocolate for 25 years, it's a sales message. It's summer, this is perfect for your barbecue. You know, buy our chocolate. Then the next slide, bear in mind, you know, the chocolatier doesn't have another slide. The next slide on Hotel Chocolate says, buy your teacher a gift. Retail, timing. I have to send you the message at the right time. Buy your teacher a gift. There are millions of parents around the country this week going, oh man, I've got to buy my teacher a gift. You know, it's just hassle. I don't want to seem uncharitable about it, but you know, there are millions of parents in the country this week thinking, what on earth can I get my kid to give their teacher as a present? And Hotel Chocolate are making it easy. They've made a rather uninspiring chocolate book shape thing. But never mind, point is, they are aware. They know that there's a timing opportunity, a very short window. They've created the product that matches the need, and they've advertised it. They've said, straight up, homepage, buy your teacher a gift. We'll take your hassle away. Not that there's too much hassle. Anyway, so already, Hotel Chocolate are selling, I was going to say their ass off, you know, they are selling and selling and selling. Everything is pure. Hello, you're engaged, buy our product's best, it's ready for what you need, okay? So, yeah. And then I've got the chocolatier, who I know is a much more interesting business and a much more skilled craftsman with the material of chocolate, who deserves success, I would say, much more than Hotel Chocolate, who's got a website that will not be converting as many hard-earned customers, you know, visitors, traffic, into paying customers. That's not fair, is it? When these are very small things, you know, how can I change what the chocolatier's site does? Well, I'll reorder the menu so that when they click the things from left to right, they click what I want them to see first. You know, sales online is a sequence of delivery of messages. People flow through a site. I'm going to make sure that you get the message when I want you to get it, in the order I want you to get it. So if that goes click 1, 2, 3, it goes click 1, 2, 3. You know, featured product, who are we? Buy. You know. Preview pane, everything. I can't have a static text message taking up most of the reality, you know, the property space, whatever you want to call it. That's the way to think of it, you know, the space on the screen of the preview pane that just says, you know, I make chocolate. I ain't going to do it. I'm going to go and buy from Hotel Chocolate if you do that. I need, and I know he does them, the most interesting products, up-to-date news, and he's just won an award. I mean, that's another thing. He's just won like a regional award for the quality of his product, not on his website. Okay, so you've got to get my attention. Second problem, when I start clicking the links and you've got my attention, you can't give me any reason at all not to buy your product. Now, when I drop down the website menu, drop-down menu, and I click featured products, special products, things which you have to update, there's nothing on it. I mean it, there were blank pages. This is a really good small business. If If I go and look at your specials and your featured products and there's nothing on there, I'll make the conclusion, because you're not there to persuade me any different, that you have nothing special and you haven't got anything to feature. Being harsh about it. I'll go a bit further, and there's one of the big icons on the menu says latest news. So I click latest news. It says 9th of September 2011. Well, I don't actually read the news. Now, that is the news, which is you're either out of business or you do not care about me because you have not updated this website for 3 years. 4 years. What else do you want me to think? If you put up a news page with old data on, I will make the conclusion that you do not care about me as a customer, or you're out of business. Now, when I marry that with you've got no featured or special products, you're out of business. Okay? So, that is pretty much where we went. We went in on a brief, an agenda of let's get more traffic. My input into that conversation is no, let's stop for a minute. Let's not get more traffic until we know that everybody who arrives, who we pay money to persuade to arrive at our website, when they get there, the maximum number of people understand what we do, want to buy our product, and hand their money over.